We're going to start with some sports stories now. The Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association, GFA, has announced the immediate dismissal of Black Stars coach Chris Hughting. Now, the decision was taken after the failure of the senior national men's soccer team to progress to the knockout stage of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in La Côte d'Ivoire. Now, the association also announced that the dissolution of the technical team of the Black Stars. The team failed to win a single match in La Côte d'Ivoire, just like Cameroon, but managed 2 draws against record champions Egypt and Mozambique, which was better than previous performances. It's now left to be known the next decision of the GFA, as the Black Stars will be back in action in June for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Away from the Black Stars, the National Service personnel have taken over the duties of members of Senior Staff Association and TEU at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology at the KNUST Basic School, though the striking members of the two groups have all vacated their posts. Management has put steps in place to ensure that academic activities are not interrupted.
Though the two unions have laid down their tools, the impact of the strike is somehow minimized here at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Management is using national service personnel and some contract staff to fill the vacated posts.
Currently, we have nothing to do but to fall on national service personnel and contract staff. But, you know, there's an extent to which those staff can go. There are many things that we cannot do without the senior staff.
At the KNUST Basic School, academic activity is ongoing under the watch of some national service personnel. But the University Relations Officer says the school may be forced to close down if the strike continues.
We can only pray that this doesn't drag too long, because it will have a very negative impact or adverse effect on how the university runs.
If it drags, is it likely you will also close down the basic school, just like how UG has done?
Yes, maybe. That would be the ultimate decision.
The usual tight security here on the KNUST campus is missing, as majority of the security personnel have vacated their post in compliance to the strike directive. Some administrative offices are also not functioning. Management of the university wants stakeholders to return to the negotiating table so that the striking unions resume their services. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, KNUST.
We'll stay on the labor front now. And the University of Ghana Basic School at Legon in Accra, students are still home as the strike by members of the Senior Staff Association enters day 3. George Queenie reports that impact of the action could be dire if government fails to intervene.
The entire week is graduation for the 2023 class of the University of Ghana. Despite that, the strike by TEU and Senior Staff Association continues unabated. And when you come here, there are some service personnel and contract staff that are assuming the roles of these striking members. Some students have raised concerns about the lack of required experience, and things that used to take some few minutes are now being prolonged. Look at these national service personnel. Some are still trying to find their way around operations of the university. And one thing I can practically tell you is the fact that there are some staff of the electrical, water and sanitation department who are on standby to immediately intervene if there are any challenges. For instance, water, they say, is a life.
In case of those things, director will give go ahead, and the various units will take care of the responsibility, and then we will attend to the leaders, and then they will ask permission for us to take care of those things.
But don't you think some of your demands are outrageous?
Oh, since it's what maybe we require, I think the leaders know what is better for us to demand for us. So if the leaders are okay, so what the government or proposing or what the university are proposing is good for it, the leaders will tell us, okay, we should return back to the office and then take care of our various works.
This is the situational report, but what is the situation at the basic school level? This is the University of Ghana Business School under lock and key. The impact of the senior staff strike is biting hard. The students are still home. I know there are some parents who would devise alternative means to have their children being taught, and that will come at an extra cost. But there are those that cannot, and so the impact lingers on. Auntie Caroline is a kindergarten teacher who, despite fighting for good working conditions, is worried about the welfare of her students.
Some will leave their children at home before going work. Some too, they can get a place for them. Some too will get a teacher for them. Because I don't know how long we'll be coming back.
And the thing is, as a KG teacher, I know you people you're so emotional. Just imagine having these children stay in the house and you people also stay in the house.
Oh, that is very bad because me like this, I am somebody, I don't know how to rest. And since it's happy like that, who am I? So we have to obey the rule.
Members of the Senior Staff Association are demanding the payment of their Tier 2 pension funds, which are in arrears for 9 months, and other conditions of service.
Well, the National Labour Commission will today meet striking Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana over their Tier 2 pensions fund after the latter failed to honour an invitation last week. Now, two other unions, namely Federation of Universities Senior Staff Association of Ghana and the Teacher and Education Workers Union, TEWU, have also joined the strike, resulting in academic work grinding to a halt. National Chairman of the association, Isaac Donko, however, says the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has resorted via overtime allowances.
We are meeting NLC at 11 a.m. We are not expecting anything less than government committing to the payment of our Tier 2, which has been in arrest for the past 10 months. Then the recalculation on the 2010 to 2016 Tier 2 accumulated interest. That is what we are expecting from government. Apart from that, the overtime issue has been addressed by Fair Wages and Salaries Commission yesterday in the evening around 8 p.m. They wrote a letter to us suspending their action. So the overtime matter has been resolved by GTEC and Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. So now we are pursuing the Tier 2. Government is ready to pay. We are also ready to call off the strike. If they are not ready to pay, the strike will continue.
Now, Organised Labour has given the government a 7-day ultimatum to withdraw the opposition of value-added tax VAT on electricity consumption. Opposing the move at a media briefing in Accra, TUC Secretary General Dr. Yalba cited its effect on the livelihoods of ordinary Ghanaians.
In a letter dated January 1, 2024, the Finance Minister Kendo Foriata directed the Electricity Company of Ghana (ECG) and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company (NEDCO) to implement the VAT, aiming to raise revenue for the COVID-19 recovery program. Leadership of Organised Labour is furious about government's decision, arguing that such imposition will further worsen the plight of workers.
You impose tariffs on poor consumers of electricity, and then the wealthy multinationals. You are going to remove it. And he met them and assured them that by the end of this quarter, they are going to remove VAT from exploration for these rich companies. I mean, so what kind of country are we living in?
Chairman of the forum, Isaac Bampoado, called for its suspension.
But so far, we have not heard anything. It means what? They are taking us for granted. And we want them to know that this one there is not going to be a showdown. It's going to be giddy, 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 giddy. We are going to make sure, say, if they don't let us sleep, we also don't let them sleep.
Other union leaders expressed their concerns.
Meanwhile, other union leaders fear the 15% VAT implementation will further reduce workers' earnings. They spoke on the sidelines of the news conference in Accra.
As Organised Labour, we made strong suggestions and called on government to take it up. I have not seen that even one of those suggestions have been taken. And to think that we are going to be burdened with more taxes, it is not the best.
To push people below the poverty line is a recipe for disaster. Okay, and you'll be inviting more chaos and anarchy. And I don't want to believe that that is what they are expecting from the people of this country. For now, it is no, no, no. and it's still no.
The same people who told us that they will not go to IMF are now those who are glorifying IMF and are implementing the IMF policy to the latter. Colleagues, I'll plead with leadership. When it comes to the 31st of January and they do not stop the policy, we will not have to engage anybody. It is an automatic strike action from the 1st of February.
We are already suffering. The taxes are too much. It is not just workers, but all Ghanaians are really suffering. They have told us that if we allow this, all of us as Ghanaians, it will not be good for us.
They've taxed electricity. Very soon they'll go to water. Very soon they are going to tell you that if you have one night with your wife, you should be taxed. That is what is going to happen. They want to tax everything they can see. And that is bad for this country.
On the 10th of January, his salary is finished. And if you are telling the person to pay additional money out of the little you are giving him, what are you telling him? Government is pushing us too much to the wall. This time we are tired.
This one, whoever make an attempt to return, Antoine is not even great. A time will come, organized labor, people will not take it serious. Oh, leave them. They will start and stop somewhere. Please, let's lace our boots. It is a journey of no return.
Let's do some politics now. The Electoral Commission has tabled recent proposals calling for a change in the date of voting in Ghana before the political parties for deliberation. Now, the first inter-party advisory committee meeting between the political parties and the Electoral Commission, the parties could not reach a consensus on whether to change the December 7 date to November 7. Now, another issue that was discussed without reaching a conclusion was the proposal by the Seventh-day Adventist Church asking for the day of voting to be changed from Saturday to a working day. Now, in attendance for the first time since March 2020 was the main opposition, National Democratic Congress, NDC, after it promised to return in to IPAC. This also happens to be the first meeting between the EC and IPAC in the election year. It has been rescheduled for next week. To some other stories now, the trader who invested 760,000 Ghana cedis in Menzgold has disclosed how Chief Executive Officer of the defunct gold dealership firm, Nanapia Mensah, allegedly assaulted her and other aggrieved customers when they confronted him for their monies. Lord Eduasari reports.
Priscilla Eduboating, the fifth prosecution witness in her testimony to the Accra High Court, indicated that the former boss of Menzgold Ghana Limited brandished a gun on customers who went to demand their locked-up funds and interest at his residence at Trasacco in Accra. When the case was called, led by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Yvonne Atakra Obobisa, Priscilla submitted her witness statement to the court. She indicated that she first heard about Menzgold and was drawn towards investing after seeing a billboard advertising the same. After a year of convincing by an executive of the gold dealership firm, she finally got on board and invested in the Kaswa branch of Menzgold. The court discharged Madame Eduboating after adopting her witness statement into evidence and decision of Kwame Boafo Ekufu, lawyer for Namwan, resorting to not cross-examine her. The case, which is being heard daily, has been adjourned to Wednesday. Together with his companies, Menzgold Ghana Limited and Bio Marketing Consort Ghana Limited, Nanapia Mensah has pleaded not guilty to a plethora of charges, including selling gold without a license, operating a deposit-taking business without a license, inducements to invest, defrauding by false pretense, fraudulent breach of trust, and money laundering. He has been charged with 39 counts of these offences, amounting to a total of 340,835,650 Ghana cedis. Namwan is currently on a 500 million Ghana cedi bail with 4 sureties.
Now on to some more stories. Fewer foreign students, including Ghanaians, will be able to study in Canada starting this year. Now, as part of new immigration rules, the number is a 35% reduction from last year and could even be higher in certain provinces. Since the announcement, Ghanaians hoping to pursue an education in Canada are worried about the probability of getting study visas, but they say they will not be bothered.
Canada is limiting a key source of its growing population by capping the number of foreign students, a move aimed at quelling public anger over a housing shortage. The federal government has set up an intake cap for international student permits at about 360,000 for 2024, or a decrease of 35% from last year. Well, according to the country's immigration minister, this cap will remain in place for 2 years, with the 2025 limit to be reassessed at the end of this year. The number of foreign students in Canada tripled in a decade to more than 1 million in 2023. The new measures are aimed at curbing that growth, especially in colleges that have been accused of churning out bogus diplomas. Now, the catch, however, is that students in master's and postdoctoral programs aren't included in the cap. These restrictions will be distributed fairly among the provinces and territories weighted by population, resulting in more significant decreases in jurisdictions where foreign student numbers have exploded. And an example is in Ontario. Again, only spouses of international students in master's and doctoral programs will be eligible for open work permits. That means spouses of foreign students in other levels of study won't be allowed to work. These challenges may deter potential students from considering Canada, not only for education, but for the potential for spousal employment. But some applicants say these restrictions will not deter them.
Before the cap, people were still denied visas. So if you get, you get. If you wouldn't, it will. It has always been try your luck and God. So that's how it's.
But doesn't this, complicate it further for you?
It does, because of the spousal, restrictions. It does, but as soon as you enter, there's always a way to go about it. So.
It's just like a game you play to win or to lose. You understand? If you say they are putting restrictions, they are bringing out more things, we the Ghanaians, we don't care.
I will not give up. If I know what I really want and the reason why I want this, I will not give up. I'll keep trying.
Ghana, being a country that has a significant number of students seeking education and employment abroad, a shift in preferences is likely to be experienced. Noble Crosby-Annan, TV3 News, Accra.
Meanwhile, an education consultant, Hubert Bannerman Williams, says the restrictions introduced by Canada was expected and does not come as a surprise. He, however, says students should still apply for universities in Canada and other countries, but must seek professional assistance in doing so.
Come as a surprise at all, because this has been brewing for a while, and I think it was only a matter of time that something needed to be done about it. So it doesn't come as a surprise. But the only thing that I will say, and obviously engaging with potential students, as I said and mentioned before, a few are worried. Others, just like one of the people said, whatever happens, there will always be restrictions. People just need to, or potential students need to tighten up the applications. And if they consult, people like ourselves, we are happy to guide them, give them all the direction that they deserve. And also give them options to other countries as well.
Now let's do one more story. Traditionalists find solace in connecting with their roots and ancestors for healing, while some may shy away from spiritual healing due to diverse beliefs. In the first episode of Godwin Asidibe, Searching for a God, he explores the spiritual world, narrating the tale of a witch doctor and her client seeking divine help.
Traditionalists believe that understanding your roots and communicating with the ancestors can help resolve ongoing difficulties. However, some people avoid spiritual healing because of different beliefs. But those facing long-term illnesses or life-persistent struggles still seek help from traditional and spiritual healers. In the first episode of the documentary, Searching for a God, we explore the spiritual world, sharing the story of a witch doctor and her clients who turned to gods for assistance. They bow before it for healing. The 2-episode documentary uncovers aspects of the spiritual realm that many of us might not be aware of, delving into various beliefs and spiritual practices for survival. The premiere episode of Searching for a God airs on Wednesday, January 24, 2024 at 9 p.m. on The Assignment, and the second episode follows on Wednesday, January 31, 2024. This documentary is a must-watch, guaranteed to captivate your thoughts.